Hey everyone. I want to talk about something that, well, obviously, I'm sure some people have talked about here on YouTube and have mentioned, but I'm going to come out and say it. How many times do we have to, how many times are we going to fall for rumors that are not true? Whether they're wrestling rumors saying this or that, or tabloid rumors saying this or that, when are we going to when are we going to come to our senses and say, you know what, just ignore it, it's BS? I mean, take a look at some of the sources, okay? From a tabloid standpoint, you got things like the World Weekly News, if that still gets printed. What is the Examiner, In Touch, News Group, or whatever it's called. You have all these tabloid things that you see at the checkout stands when you check out. They're saying this, they're saying that. And because of some of the things they try to report to try to get a buck, if you will, they end up also they also get themselves in a lot of trouble. They become controversial. I mean, we all know what happened several years ago when Whitney Houston passed, and somehow somebody was able to get a picture of her lying in state 8 before her funeral, which her family was not happy about, and neither was anybody like my family or anybody that loved Whitney Houston and her music and what she had done from an entertainment standpoint, if not a humanitarian standpoint. Just being an overall good person. And we didn't like whoever this was that had somehow snuck this photo and gave it to places like the Examiner, and News Group, and In Touch, and what have you. Nobody liked it. And what's even worse is the fact that these tabloids always like to blow things out of proportions. They want to say this is how that happened, or this is what happened, or this was who was behind it. Da, 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 da. When are we going to put in it? When are these tabloids that have been going on for decades? I don't know when these tabloids that you find at the newsstands ended up coming into existence, but when are they going to come to an end? Because it needs to stop. Not everybody's going to believe what they say. Yeah, people will read it because they like gossip. They like to read about rumors and all that, or read possible theories or potentialities. But you know what? It's all false. And these need to end. They need to come to an end. I mean, we all know about the whole Kelly Ripa, Michael Strahan situation, right? We know what Kelly did was kind of unprofessional on her part, but we also know that Michael Strahan, what he did by not letting her know well in advance, the fact that he was being offered a job at Good Morning America was unprofessional too. He let her know mostly on air without her knowing. If there's one thing, hopefully he should have learned by being a fan of the show, being on the show, co-hosting the show in Regis's place at times when Regis was on there, is he should have basically been prepared. Maybe there was some people behind the scenes that knew, but basically he just wanted to keep it a secret till such time was inevitable. Now, you might say, well, wasn't that the same way with Regis and then before Kelly Ripa came on, Kathy Lee? No, because they pretty much, and probably behind the scenes, informed each other that, hey, I may be making my announcement anytime that I'm going to be stepping down and away from the show. So that's, at least they gave them time. Okay, they gave them time. And the thing is, here's what's even funnier about this. When Regis finally stepped down and Michael came on, some people did question it at first. Because now you would question it at first, but I think what they were doing here by adding Michael Strahan to the show as a co-host, where they were starting to aim for that younger generation. That generation that when live really took off nationally, in 85, regionally and then nationally in the mid to late 80s, like I said, in the mid to late 80s, they basically went a direction, if you will, that okay, they basically, when live started back in like I said, in the mid to late '80s, a lot of our parents were about the age we are now. They were in their 30s, and some of them had been with watching live even when it was a regional, if not semi syndicated program before it went national. Okay, so they were about our age, if not younger, when live started, and they kept watching it since then. So you can understand that 4 years ago, when Michael came on board, him being the leading obvious candidate, you know, they were aiming for that younger generation. They were already taking the steps towards that younger generation in 2001. In 2001, if you will, they were already taking steps towards that younger generation in 2001, and when they brought Kelly on board. She was young, she was doing her prime, she had a lot to get off her. She had enough basically steam in her engine to keep going for maybe 10, 20, 30 years. Who knows? Who knows? I mean, Regis and Kathy Lee, what did they kept doing it for like 15 years, 15, 16 years, which is a long time. You know, Regis, even when Kathy Lee left, just like Kelly, after he left, would have co-host after co-host before they settled on Kelly. But the thing is, he kept doing it even long before that. So you were looking at approximately, how long? 20, 25 years, 26 years? Yeah, 25, 20, what is it, 25, almost 25 years nationally and maybe 30 years overall. I mean, it was huge. It was huge. I mean, it made a lot of tabloids, made a lot of news when he was stepping down, just like it did with Kathy Lee. But here was the difference between them and how people viewed Michael and Kelly. You see, Michael and Kelly were brought in sort of as the next Regis and Kathy for that new generation. But they looked at the fact that Kathy Lee and Regis were coming from backgrounds that they had already been established in. Kathy Lee, of course, was a soap opera actress and was working as sort of a reporter or a newscaster or fellow broadcaster on Good Morning America. She had that background already, so she was ready to jump over, which she did. Now, Regis, of course, had all that momentum from the past decades that he'd been on the air, so he'd already been established. But now, now here's the thing: what makes people always pine for them, because there was that rumor about a year or two ago about them possibly getting together for a new show, is the fact that Kathy Lee and Regis had their egos in check in the eyes of many people. They had their egos in check. They didn't use, as I once looked at it with Kelly, but I've changed my tune, they didn't use live as a stepping stone to get elsewhere. They were offered certain opportunities. Regis was offered Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. He was offered that gig. Did he stay long with it? No, but he was offered it. Kathy Lee, because she had a great singing voice and voice overall, was offered various voice actress jobs as well as various singing opportunities to produce albums, which she did. Point being is they earned those opportunities. They were given to them. They weren't handed to them. Now you might say, well, Kelly had that show, Hope and Faith, that was handed to her. Not particularly. It just so happened that Kelly, let's not forget, had just started about a year or two before on live, and ABC looked at the fact to capitalize on her being the new co-host, or co-hostess, if you will, of the show, by giving her this gig, this lead role, or co-lead role in this sitcom on TGIF, so that people could get to know her better. They can get to know, oh, wait a minute, that's that girl that's on live. It was giving them a chance to get to see her more outside of what they normally saw her on live, as well as the fact that by having her on Hope and Faith, it gave people an interest to want to look up her background, and it did. Because if you didn't pay attention, you would know she was a former soap opera actress, just like Kathy Lee. But here again is where a lot of people, even like myself at the time, would say she's just using live as a stepping stone. Due to the fact that every time, well, not every time, but due to the fact that there are several times when they would have a fellow actress come on, another actress, big time actress or anything, come on as a guest, or there would be some kind of moments and everything where she would just basically either it was already scripted, which I'm pretty sure it was, or it wasn't. She would just start trying to get like very diva-like they mentioned in some articles. She would get very diva-like. She'd be like, she'd want to take advantage of that moment. You know what I'm saying? And anytime, like saying a big-time actress would come on board, or a semi-big-time actress would come on board, she would always try to play up, like I said, whether it was scripted or it wasn't, she would try to play up a little bit of a rivalry. Like, maybe she was a bit jealous of said actress. And maybe she wanted the opportunity, the same role as said actress. Like maybe she's trying to overshadow her, or not overshadow her, but kind of humiliate her, embarrass her, bring her down to earth, if you will, by saying, hey, whatever you could do, I can do better. So, there were situations like that, There were situations like that. And, again, you can't, really blame anybody for, wanting to think that in the long run. But as time went on and she became more focused on doing the show and maybe doing a few side projects that were less known, you kind of had a better understanding, that you kind of had a better appreciation for the fact that she was not, as diva-ish, if you will, as we thought she would be. And that she was not, she's not, and that she was probably more content now with being the co-host or co-hostess on live, now that they also had Michael Strahan on board as part of the team. I said now that they had Michael Strahan on board as part of the team. But after what happened recently, you can't blame a lot of, I know people can't blame tabloids for picking up on things and saying this is what happened, that's what happened. People can't blame TMZ, people can't blame Entertainment Tonight, Access Hollywood. They can't blame them for reporting what was going on, for the fact that Kelly, after basically Michael Strahan unprofessionally, and I will admit that, dropped that bombshell on her, did not want to come back for a while. She decided to take the opportunity to celebrate her wedding anniversary, go on vacation, basically have some space, have some time to kind of recollect her thoughts, in which she did. This is why she did it, in my opinion. I think anybody would agree. She did this to recollect her thoughts and try to, recollect her thoughts, let her emotions calm down, maybe blow off some steam, and maybe think more about why Michael didn't want to let her know in advance. Because if he would have let her know in advance, maybe there's a chance she would not want him to go, because she has gotten so used to him as a co-host. Now they have to come December, or not December, but come September, they got to find a new co-host. They basically got to use the summer to probably find someone new. And again, according to rumors and everything and reports, that we will not know whether or not they're true or not until they are verified and making them just rumors. We will not know if she's going to have someone she likes to have on as her co-host. I mean, I told my mom, honestly, I said, Mom, I think the best co-host for her is her husband, Mark Consuelos. That's it. That's it. So, to me, I think he would be the best choice. Obviously they know each other very well. It's not that, they don't have to, it's like they're there, they can get it done, and they can go home together. It's no big deal. And one is not going to walk out on the other as a co-host for a show, because particularly it will not create a very comfortable situation at home, if you catch my drift. Now, again, I can understand why In Touch this time would report the fact that, you know, ABC wants to do a pay cut on Kelly Ripa because of the unprofessional conduct that she's done over the past few weeks, and the fact that, you know, some people wouldn't be sad or mad or even cry a tear if she, you know, was cut entirely and they decided to go on with live with a whole new co-hosting team. Which, of course, as we find out, is not entirely true. I mean, you could tell Kelly likes the job. She loves her job. But, like I said, over the past, how long has she been there now? 15 years? That's a long time, right? So, for the past 15 years, you can't blame anybody for feeling the way they do about her doing, you know, feeling the way, kind of getting those, no, well, not feeling the way they do about what she did, and kind of coming up once again with the reasonings as to why she even came on board in the first place. They can't really blame them, but the thing is, you can't believe everything you read. That's the thing. And to me, I look at the fact that I've watched live on occasions, and I've seen that, in a sense, she is content being there. She likes being there, you know, and that it was kind of unprofessional. Now, yes, it was unprofessional on both ends doing what they did. Michael not giving her a notice in advance, and her storming off and acting the way she did. So again, whether we like it or not, you can't blame, you know, people like In Touch for saying what they did. But the thing is, that's what makes In Touch so controversial, and one of those articles, one of those tabloid magazines that needs to go. It, the Global, the Examiner, you know, whatever else, those need to go, because how many times are they going to get proven wrong? How many times are they going to get proven wrong? A lot. A lot. They're going to get proven wrong a lot. So they need to go, and in the process, you might have things like TMZ and Access TMZ. They may have to start, you know, laying back on some of the articles, some of those stories that they report on the air, because their source, which is In Touch, things like In Touch, will kind of be not there anymore. And it's kind of, again, like, you know, with wrestling. You know, with wrestling, you know, there are several times, there's been a lot of people that have gone on the Facebook pages, the Facebook wrestling pages that I'm a part of, I'm a member of, and they've come up with rumors saying, oh, this athlete, oh, this wrestler died, or this, and yet they're always proven wrong by people that basically call them out for the BS. And the reason they do that is because they want to clickbait you, as well as they want to see your reaction. And the fact that they are trolls, period. So, you know, you see, these are the kind of things that need to stop. These tabloid rumors, these false rumors, they need to stop. And things like the Examiner, the Global, In Touch, and whatever other magazines like Closer or whatever, they need to stop, period. They need to either, you know, leave the store shelves and be gone, or they need to get more accurate. They need to start putting the lies behind them. They need to start putting the lies behind them. Stop reporting false stories and start focusing on the truth. Start focusing on reality, on fact. No more, oh, this celebrity has so many days to live or so many months to live. No. Start being reality-based, not fictional-based because you want a buck. All right? But that's just my little tangent on this whole rumor deal, on these whole rumors that are always being made and fabricated and all that. I think it's just time now. I mean, it's 2016, folks. You know, I know it's an old saying, but it's 2016. It's time for these tabloids to either cease to exist or start becoming real tabloids and start reporting real news and not false news. if you catch my drift. So that's all I'm going to say, folks. Let me know what you think down below. Comment if you like. I'm out.